Well, cancer is really cells growing out of control. So when a cell grows in an organ, it's controlled by the organ. It's told what to do. It says, you're part of the liver, you should develop into a liver cell, and this is what you should be doing. Similarly, in the pancreas, you're supposed to be a pancreas cell, this is what you do. But in a cancer, the cell develops a mind of its own and just starts to grow out of control, out of organization with the rest of the body. And because it really isn't influenced by the rest of the body, it just continues to grow. It doesn't do anything useful, and just simply through growing, bits breaking off and spreading and growing elsewhere, it replaces and consumes those organs that we need to survive.
The pancreas is an organ which lies at the back of the abdomen. It passes from here across to here. It's shaped a little like a fish with a head, body and a tail. It lies in the duodenum where it produces pancreatic juice. It has a beautiful orangey yellow colour to it, and it's soft, yet it is a very powerful organ because it makes enzymes which digest your food and also makes insulin to help you metabolize that food that you've digested.
Pancreatic cancer is usually a single tumour which originates in the pancreas but then can spread elsewhere. It can either spread to the lymph glands close to the pancreas, which we can still take out with an operation, or it can spread to the liver or the lining of the abdominal cavity called the peritoneum.
We found 2 big tumours in my liver, which were the size of a tennis ball, and so we decided to do a biopsy after that. And after the biopsy, it was confirmed, yes, that I have endocrine carcinoids and that I have cancer, which started with the pancreas being the primary and metastasized to the liver.
So this mode of spread is called metastasis, which means moving to a different site. And so individual cells of the tumour shed off and they lodge in other organs such as the liver, and then they continue to grow. And so whilst it is still pancreatic cancer, it now is in the liver. When we diagnose somebody with a pancreatic cancer, in order to decide what sort of treatment we're going to do, we have to do what's known as staging, to identify which stage the cancer is at. Is it as an early stage? Is it confined to the pancreas? Can we do things like surgery? Is it a little bit more advanced but still in the area of the pancreas, which means we can't do surgery, but we can use other things such as potentially radiotherapy? Or has it already spread somewhere else like the liver, where neither surgery nor radiotherapy is really going to help, because just taking out the origin of the cancer isn't going to help because it's already spread. And so in that instance we use chemotherapy.
When Mum was first diagnosed, she told me that the doctor said she would only live for about 2 weeks, and and she was in absolute shock because she said, I didn't even feel sick. And then once they looked at further tests and scans and things, they were able to see that the tumour hadn't spread anywhere else, so they said they modified their prognosis to about a year. And as it turned out, Mum lived for 3.5 years, and she lived pretty well for most of it. She had a reasonable quality of life.
Generally with pancreatic cancer, it's got a bit too far by the time it's found. But they could have told me, yes, you can beat it, it is possible. It's not necessarily a death sentence. I was 50 and being told I'd be dead within 6 months. And I just wasn't prepared for that.
Actually, when I first told my boss that I had cancer, she really couldn't believe it. She said, you are one of the fittest person in the office, you know, all the other young men, they fall down like flies.
Unfortunately, the main risk for pancreatic cancer is bad luck. We don't really know enough about most of the cancers that develop. They just develop for a reason we don't understand. We do know that about 1/4 of pancreatic cancers probably develop as a result of smoking, and smoking is certainly a risk factor. Another risk factor is pancreatitis, or more specifically chronic pancreatitis, which is an ongoing inflammation of your pancreas. We know that diabetes is associated with pancreatic cancer, but it's not necessarily a risk factor. It may be something as a consequence of the pancreatic cancer or something that develops together. But unfortunately, the majority of pancreatic cancers don't occur as a result of direct risk factors.
For patients who have pancreatic cancer, you need to be aware there are lots of support services around and that you should not feel isolated through this journey.